What up, everybody? What up, everybody? Let me get to the spot. Let me get to the spot. Hey, everybody. What is going on? This is Plan Your Greatness, and I am your gracious host, Carlton Hamilton. And let's get started today. Let's kick it off by saying this is day number 50. Now, I wish I could have some like cheering in the background. Little things falling down, celebrating some horns or something. But yes, this is day 50, the 50th consecutive day of my insanity workout. Now, there have been some off days in there, but that's a part of the program. So you take your off day and then you jump back in. But this is day number 50 of working out. I just looked at the board. 10 more days to go on the board, but approximately 14 more days of the actual working out and stuff. Because I take, some days they have you do two different things on one day, and I said, man, if I try to do those two things in one day, I damn near kill myself. So I just split those things up. I do one thing on one day, one thing on the next day. So I still stay consistent with the program, and I just keep it moving. And today, which was interesting, is that I get up at 4:30, mill around, do my stuff, and usually start my workout around 5, somewhere between 4:45 and 5. But today was the first day since I've been working out. And this was actually even before the 50 days of the insanity workout. I had started a couple of months before that, just trying to eat better. That was the first thing I did. I said, I'm going to really focus on eating better, getting better sleep, watching my water intake, make sure that's high. Because there were things with my body that I started noticing that just wasn't right, And so that I attribute that to being an athlete. Athletes tend to be very, very conscious of changes in their body because you're always looking at different things, tweaking them so that if you get out of whack, you're so conscious of what you do when you're doing things well, that when you're not doing those things, it's very easy to recognize, okay, these are the things that I did when I was doing well. So what's happening right now is my body doesn't feel that way. So how do I get myself back on track? So same thing. I pay attention to how much I'm spitting. That's a sign. I pay attention to what I feel like in the morning. I pay attention to my joints. I pay attention to my bowel movements, like the consistency of them. People think that's silly. But when you're an athlete, you're always paying attention to everything about your body because at that point, you're a machine. And so I would always be very conscious of what the color of my pee, because it can't be too dark. You don't really want it to be too light. It's got to be a perfect, color. Same thing with the consistency of my bowel movements and what I feel like. How regular are those bowel movements? How regular am I going pee? Just the way that my joints feel. All these things are just indicators of what's going on with your body. And so because I've paid close attention to those things, I'm able to notice positive changes or changes that need to be adjusted. Now, the reason why I bring that up is just today. Okay, so let's say it's the 50th second of me actually being in a structured fitness program. All right. So there were days before that I was doing things, and now I tried to stay away from the mirror, other than taking pictures of my progress. Like every 5 days or so, I was taking pictures. But I noticed today for the first time, I looked in the mirror and I actually saw progress throughout my face. Now, it's hard for us to recognize any sort of progress unless it is a substantial change, because we're constantly looking and feeling ourselves all day long. We're taking a shower, so we're wiping ourselves. We're in the mirror, shaving or whatever we're doing. So we're constantly looking at our body. So, it's like watching grass grow to try to see if we've made some progress. And so I looked in the mirror today and I was like, damn, okay, I can see a little progress. I mean, I have lost somewhere in the range of 20, somewhere between 20 and 25 pounds. I mean, if I get on the scale, but, I can't really say for sure if it's actually 20, because I know I've lost at least 20. But I know if I calculated it accurately, I would probably come to the range of somewhere between 20 and 25 pounds. And I've often told people that I don't believe our body really makes the adjustment, really starts to kick in and really starts making the changes that we want to see in our body until we have worked out at least 45 days. I just think that, if you want your body to respond, you've got to be on some type of, what's going on, Kirk? Thank you for joining in. I think we need to be on some sort of program for at least 45 days. And I say 45 days. Now, that 45 days could be broken up into like 15 workouts. Say if you did 15 workouts over every 3 days, there's your 45 days. Now, you can intensify that by dropping that back to taking those 15 workouts like consecutive. Boom, 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 boom. But you're really not going to see your body really respond, in my opinion, until you get to that 45th day. You can work out for 15 consecutive days, but your body's going to be shocked, and it's going to be like, hey, it may even start rejecting it. You may have some pain or whatever. But after 45 days of consistently working out, then your body starts to go, hey, I believe this person is serious about this. And so then your body takes over. It's very much like an addiction, that your body starts to take over. And then it starts to either tell your mind what's going on, or it starts to work in like perfect conjunction with your mind and body. And it becomes this, like now, I have no problem getting up at 4:30 in the morning, none whatsoever. But I can tell you at the very beginning of this workout, man, boy, getting up at 4:30 in the morning, I was like, oh, my goodness gracious. But I get up at 4:30 now. I just get up. I have a little routine. No, it doesn't even matter what time I go to bed. My body is on autopilot now. So my mind and my body are all working together, But all right, that's a little bit of my little monologue where I just want to kind of get those thoughts out there. But this is what we're talking about today. As you can see the title, it is, Are You Winning? So you're saying to yourself, okay, what is he talking about? What does he mean? Are you winning? And I'm using that as the topic of today because specifically we're talking about the fact that I have hit the mark of 50 consecutive days of doing this insanity program. What's going on, Ray? Good to see you joining in. So let me get back on topic. Good to see friends from I can and I will. Absolutely. I'm at this park walking and I see somebody out here doing football drills. I see other guys over here doing running drills because it looks like they're preparing for a frisbee football tournament. So you get people out here, before 7 o'clock in the morning getting their workouts in. But all right, let's get back to the topic. Are you winning? Okay, I have hit the 50-day mark of this insanity program. And at the 50-day mark, what the insanity program has into the program is every 2 weeks, you are to do what is called a fit test. All right, that fit test, well, let's go back to the very beginning. Before you even start the program, it has you do a fit test. And I guarantee if you go back to the very, very beginning, when I first started doing these little walk and talks, I guarantee you heard me talking like this as I was walking. You could just hear in my breathing. Now, 50 days later, or however many days later, I'm walking at the same pace, but my breaths are under control. It's just beautiful. I hadn't even really thought about it until maybe about a week ago. I was like, I can actually walk and talk without having my breath, I was, and I don't even think I was really out of shape. It was just like, you're moving. But here, okay, let's get back to the topic. Are you winning? So at the beginning of the program, you do a fit test. So it's just going to measure you. When you put in the video, it tells you, hey, check with your physician, or make sure your joints, don't do nothing crazy. All right. So right at the beginning of the program, I did this fit test. It gives you about 10 exercises, and you are to do as many as you can in a minute. Write down that number. So then at the 2-week mark of the program, you come back and do this fit test. Very easy. You look at what you did at the beginning. You see if you've made any progress in 2 weeks. Now, if you did 10 jumping jacks in a minute or whatever, let's just use a round number. Then at the 2-week mark, thank you, Ray. Proud of you too, brother. All right. So at the 2-week mark, if I did 10 jumping jacks at the very beginning and now I'm doing 15, you've improved. Okay. Now you know you're winning because you've measured it. And I said this before, and my old roommate Mark Davis quoted me on one of his walks. What gets measured gets done. When you measure something, it's very easy to keep track of it. It's very easy to see if you're making progress toward it. And when you don't measure stuff, it's very hard to see if you're making progress or even kind of mark what you're doing. Setting your, just kind of setting the table for things you're doing and just trying to reach a goal of some kind. If you don't have some sort of measurement, hold on. I'm over here I'm going down the wrong trail. So after 2 weeks, I showed improvement. After 4 weeks, I showed improvement. This is after the 6th week. I have 2 more weeks left on the calendar for this program. So I marked everything down this morning, and clearly I've made some improvements. So it shows that I've gotten myself in better physical shape just by the fact that however many jumping jacks or all these different exercises I did, I can do more of them. So that goes back to my question, are you winning? And I see this all the time on social media because I say this before. I never was one to really be on social media. Some people see all my posts and everything and think this is something that I've intentionally done as far as getting on social media and being this social activist or just motivate. Nope, I was none of that stuff. I have teenagers, so they're, once they got their phones, they're goofing around on social media. So I just got on there, made some profiles. I noticed that guys I played ball with put some old pictures in there, and that's how it got started. I started just kind of following, along with what other people were doing. I just, okay. But now I have 2 businesses, actually 3, that rely on social media activity. And so because of that, it has forced me to become socially active on social media. All right. And because I'm active on social media, that then gives me this portal into what other people are thinking, doing, saying, their views on the world. And so I end up responding to just a lot of things that I see out there in the world. And I use the social media platform to do that. Now, with all that said, what has come out there? Michael Rivera, how you doing, brother? Thank you for joining in. Now, again, the topic is, are you winning? And because I have the businesses that have required me to be on social media, I get to see everybody's interaction. And what I noticed was people are out here and not really measuring themselves, monitoring themselves. And I'm not saying like being politically correct. What I'm saying is people are just walking through their lives and not using any sort of tool to measure whether they are winning or are they making any sort of progress every single day. And then they just kind of wake up and it's an accident and they just go and jump into the day and then just, how you doing, man? Oh man, I'm just trying to just live day to day. I'm like, what the hell? And I remember having a conversation with a pharmaceutical sales rep. And after talking to him for a few minutes, well, actually, we had a nice long conversation. He said, you would be perfect in pharmaceutical sales. And I was like, where do you get that from? He said, your attitude, your energy. And he said, you played sports. He said, I look for two people. If I'm looking for guys, I want quarterbacks. If I'm looking for women, I want cheerleaders. He said quarterbacks are men, or those are leaders. And he said the women as cheerleaders, they're just naturally enthusiastic about what they are doing. And I'm just listening to him and I'll go, I said, that's a general stereotype. I said, but that's a good place to start. You want people who are naturally, not necessarily naturally, just leaders or in positions of leadership where they're used to leading people. And then you want the women to be leaders, but you also want them to be in supporting roles. Not to say that you can't lead, but you want them to be very enthusiastic. You want them to have those sort of characteristics. Now I'm being real careful with my words there, because some PC person to get up in here, well, women can do whatever, men and don't discount whatever. This was a conversation I had. The person was looking for people who are high energy, leadership qualities, enthusiastic, and probably on top of that, good looking. Okay? So with all that said, let's go back to the title of this walk and talk. Are you winning? Hey, Jamie, I remember you from Rich Central. Boy, we a long way from Olympia Fields. But back to the topic. Are you winning? And the reason why I know a lot of companies like people who were athletes or who participated in something that required them to focus, practice, be accountable, be in some sort of team environment, either all or a combination of those things. Those are the type of people that you want on your team, because you don't have to sit over here and motivate them all the time. And now you have people that are integrating themselves with the group, self-motivated, and you put a score up there and they're trying to win. When I graduated from ASU, I started working for one of the largest, or probably the largest, online education company in the world. That was University of Phoenix. And I was coming from a traditional academic setting. I was an academic advisor for Phoenix College, a local community college. I worked as a recruiter. I went out to high schools. I recruited high school students to become teachers. Specifically, I was looking for black males, because we just don't see a lot of black males in teaching. I think my statistics showed that 92% of elementary school teachers are white females. Now, that's a whole nother discussion as far as the problems we've had with detention and all the other stuff. But so my job was to look for black males who were looking to go into teaching. Now, most black males, when they come out of the hood, if they get themselves educated, they're not teaching. Not enough pay. Okay. That's a whole nother discussion as well. But when I was there as an academic advisor, I was doing academic advising, I was doing recruiting, and I was working over in financial aid. I was triple dipping, trying to get as much money as I could, and trying to get as much experience as I could. But here's what was going on, is that as I was doing that job as an academic advisor, I ran into somebody, had a conversation, and they mentioned to me, you know what, your personality, I think you would do very well at University of Phoenix. And I said, well, how much do they pay? And they told me how much they paid. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I went over there, interviewed, got the job, started working in sales. And I didn't realize that online education was all about sales. So I was kind of frustrated at the beginning, but once I figured it out and I actually kind of put my sports mentality into that sales environment, I put myself in it, I became one of the top online sales or online, what they call them, enrollment counselors in the company. I was in the top 10 every month, or the first page, you call it. I was on the first page every month. And somebody asked me, they said, how is it that you're so successful? I said, well, I look at it like a scoreboard. And I said, anytime there's a scoreboard around, I'm trying to win. And every athlete that I have run into has said the same thing. I'm trying to win. I don't care if it's acknowledged that I may not be the most gifted athlete out here, but I am going to compete with you. Hey, Katie, how are you doing? Glad you joined in. You were actually on my mind recently, so I hope things are well with you and the family. But back to my topic. Are you winning? Okay, and so I was asked the question, and this was at a big presentation. They were honoring all the top performers at University of Phoenix. And so, boom, my picture gets up on the screen. I'm like, whoa. And the CEO, Brian Mueller, I think he's the CEO of Grand Canyon University or whatever. He's moved on to different things. Former basketball coach. He was like the perfect CEO for a company. Super duper competitive. So he calls out my name. He's like, Carlton Hamilton, what are you doing? What makes you so successful? And I said, I treat everything like a scoreboard. I said, and if you have a scoreboard when I'm playing, I'm going to try to win. And I said, it just reminds me of sports. If I put myself in this very competitive mindset, I'm going to compete like it's a game. And I said, it's just very simple. I get on the phone and I'm competing to get this person in school. I'm not going to say anything crazy. I'm not going to cheat. I said, but I'm just going to be competitive. If I got to stay later and make extra phone calls, I'm going to make those extra phone calls. If I got to get there early to get the better phone calls, because they had this queue. You had to get there early. If you logged in, then you would be in the rotation to get the early phone calls. So whatever I needed to do so I could get on that first page, I was going to do that. Now this goes back to the title of this walk and talk, and that is, are you winning? But more importantly, what instrument do you have in place that you can measure yourself to show you are winning? That's one of the key components that's missing, because people will go out here in the world and think, I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. And I'm going, what tool of measurement are you using? Are you calls, if you're in sales, calls, appointments? Like with me, I focus on these three areas. I focus on my health, I focus on my finances, and I focus on my education. So I ask myself every day, it's just a simple question. Carlton, what are you doing today to make sure that you are getting yourself, that you are winning the day physically? I got up today, I did my insanity workout, bam, I knocked that out, 4:30 in the morning, okay? The next thing is my finances. How am I looking financially? Well, how many tax clients am I getting every day? And how do I do that? How do I market to them? How do I keep them engaged? How do I get referrals from them? Easy to do that. I walk into the store. I'm seeing how many, what sales, how many sales are we having in the store? And then I can look at it because our POS system tells me every day it's tracking everything, every sale in the store. And I can track it and look, okay, on Tuesday, like for instance, yesterday was Monday. The week before I had a big day on Monday, which was abnormal. So I was like, oh, shoot, let's see if I can match that day today. What can I do? Can I get online, do some advertising, maybe have a sale or something like that to generate the sales? And we didn't reach that goal for the day, but we hit our average for the day. So that's how I do that. And then the last thing is education. What am I doing? What am I reading? What am I listening to? I mean, right now I'm listening to this economics, Thomas Sowell. I was listening to him, economics. He's one of the guys that the black community despises. So I want to thoroughly listen to this guy. Hey, yes, always love your spirit. Katie, I always tell you that I love listening to you because you have so much passion when you would tell these stories. You are a great storyteller. You should have a podcast of your own. You've always told great stories. You've always captured my attention. So let me get back. I don't want to get sidetracked, but just wanted to give you a shout out. All right. So back to what I was saying. All right. People do not use. Okay. I was on my last thing, education. Okay. So every single day I was talking about this book that I'm reading, or the books that I'm reading, Thomas Sowell. The black community hates this guy. So before I jump on the bandwagon to hate the dude, I said, let me read all of his stuff. And I've read like 5 of his books already. All right. That's how I work. I've read 5 of his books, and I want to say he has approximately 20 books. So during the course of this year, I said I wanted to read all of his books so I could give him a fair assessment, because I think there are people on the right that are quoting him that don't really know what his full philosophies are. And I think people on the left are not liking him without understanding his full philosophies. You see that little conundrum right there in the middle? People are applauding him without enough knowledge of him. Then the people that are hating him without enough knowledge of him. So I want to find out more and more. I want to find out what his philosophies are. I'm reading books that this dude wrote back in the 1970s. All right. So that's how I roll. I want to give somebody a fair shake, because I know some people follow me on social media and they believe, oh, Carlton just is spewing his opinions on everything. Nope. I deal in facts. I don't deal in opinions. I may have my opinion on something, but it's not something I'm going to get on social media and stand on a soapbox just because of my opinion. If I'm going to stand on something very hard, it's because I've gained some facts on something. That's just the way that I roll. So typically, if you jump on my page and I'm talking something very factual, you're going to get your butt lit up, because more than likely you are coming from an emotional position. I'm coming from facts. Facts and emotion, that's a bad conversation. Somebody's coming from facts and somebody's coming from emotion. Woo, or opinions. Woo, that's an ugly conversation, because eventually at some point in time, the facts are going to just do like a samurai warrior, going to pull out that sword and just cut you to pieces. Because emotional conversations or opinion based conversations can only go so far. Facts will cut to the core. They win every time. All right. So I check myself in 3 areas. I check my fitness, I check my finances, and I check my education. What am I doing on a daily basis to improve myself financially so I can know something about a topic, or just know the landscape of something so I can actually talk about it from a reasonable place. All right, let me see. Did I cover everything today? Yes, I did. Woohoo. See, normally I usually have my little sheet. I had it in my pocket. I didn't have to bring it out today, but I always have it because I get on these tangents and then I lose my audience because they're going, that ninja is just running his mouth. But I wanted to bring that to the attention of everybody today as I close here right now. Ask yourself, are you winning? And if you say yes, then you need to be able to produce the tools that you're using as far as a measurement at how you're coming to this conclusion that you're winning. And if you ask yourself, am I winning? And you say no, the first thing you can do is let me measure myself where I'm at. Because when I got out of prison, one of the first things I did was take 100% accountability for why I went in there and where was I at that moment. And at that particular moment, I was like, brother, you are not winning. You are getting out of prison. You don't have an education. You barely graduated from high school. You don't have any skills. Brother, you're really of no value to the world. And so I set out to add value. And so if you go get my book or follow my channel, shameless plug, Plan Your Greatness on Amazon. It's the draft copy. The new copy is being edited right now with the help of one of my professors from ASU, Dr. Pete Padilla. Shout out to him. Great dude. And you can follow more of these videos because usually after I do the walk, I upload this on my channel, which is called Plan Your Greatness TV on YouTube. There's probably over 300 videos. So if you want to listen to more messages and stuff that I have at it. That stuff, I just upload that stuff. And then when I get a chance, I go back and edit some of them and put little cartoons and stuff in them so they're a little bit more enjoyable. But that's what I do. So as we close out here, I just want to say thank you guys all for joining in. And I will leave you with this as I leave every message or every message that I give on these little walk and talks or on my channel. I always say this to everybody. I say, plan your greatness. You know why? Because no one else will. I will see you all next time. Thanks for joining in.